Today on the channel, we're flying high again like a young Ozzy Osbourne with Jack's Class Superstars Series 21 flying Brian Pillman, Rey Mysterio Jr., and Jeff Hardy.
The spirit of the warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Jack's Classic Superstars unboxing and review. And today from Jack's Class Superstars Series 21, we got flying Brian Pillman, we've got Rey Mysterio, and we've got Jeff Hardy. But remember, for all your modern day wrestling figure needs, hit up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle to save yourself 10%. And we're going to start it off today in Series 21 as we got all the high flyers, all of the flyers today. We're going to start it off with old Rey Mysterio Jr. as the LJN representative in this wave. Of course, we've talked about the LJN figures in the past. One per wave, guys that are the tippy-top stars currently at the time of this, getting an LJN-inspired figures that really aren't LJN style because they're a lot smaller, don't feel quite the same. More typical to the WCW or original San Francisco toy maker rubber-like figures. That's what it reminds me of a little bit more. But Rey Mysterio, no doubt a future Hall of Famer, still wrestling to this day. A great one here. And then we did actually, a little spoiler alert for the future, in Jack's Class Superstars Series 28, we got this Rey Mysterio redone in silver. So we'll talk about that one when we do get to that one. There's old Rey in the package. He's got his orange, he's got his tattoos, a little comical look to him, of course, as these LJN figures are a little comic styled, I would say. But orange and black attack for Rey here. Superstars logo on the side, Rey down there in the glamour shot in the bottom. Of course, the blue outline of the packaging for the LJN. Rey Mysterio, don't call him Junior over there. And then in the back of the package, we got the cross-sell, we got the UPCs, we got the warning, we got the tail of the tape, we got the blurb, and we got the glamour shot of Rey Mysterio up top. Let's see what it says about our favorite luchador, Rey Mysterio. Weight 165 pounds, height 5'6", finishing move the 619 in the West Coast Pop. Titles, World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Tag Team Champion, Cruiserweight Champion, WCW Tag Team Champion, and of course, Royal Rumble winner. Very, very cool. And I do have this already unboxed. I already had one of these in my collection, so we got Rey right here. Very cool attention to detail for this LJN figure. I like the crazy font on the 619 on the side here, but then all the extra tattoos on Rey. You know, I could see them cutting back a little bit with these LJN style figures. They did not. They put all of his arm tattoos, his big back tattoo on there, the old Mexican on the front, Aaliyah and Dominic, their names there. Very cool contact lenses on him like Rey wore at the time. I think he still wears them now, actually. But the contacts in there. He's got his two hands in the sky, pointing up that he's number one. He's letting everybody know he's number one, or he's number two. Maybe 1 + 1 is 2. I'm not exactly sure. But a good one. It does have a hint of sticky disease. Not as bad as some of the other LJN-inspired figures, but he's got a little bit of stickiness to him in his pants here. But a very good representative for the line. It's a little smaller figure, but it always feels good because he is smaller, so that makes sense to me. But a good one, and like I said, we did get a rerun of this in Series 28. We'll talk about that when that day comes. So there's Rey Mysterio, a very easy one, but the LJN inspired, there's no articulation. There's not a lot to talk about those guys. They really are more akin to a statue, as you guys know. Now we turn our attention to two high flyers from different eras, I guess. More Attitude Era Jeff Hardy, but early WCW flying Brian Pillman. And if you were a kid like me growing up, you loved flying Brian Pillman. He was one of your favorites. I absolutely loved his galoo back in the day. He had the old pose going on. I loved that flying Brian figure. This one always pretty good as well. A little tall, but we won't hold it against him. But let's take a look at this one in package. Here's old flying Brian Pillman. He does come with that steel chair. Got to have that, a classic Jack's accessory. He does have his Bengal trunks on. And I think when I close my eyes and I think of Brian Pillman, I know a lot of people do think of loose cannon Brian Pillman, but I always go back to this. This is the most iconic, and maybe that's because that's where I first learned or knew of him. But when I think of Brian Pillman, I think of the Bengal-colored trunks, him high-flying, him partner with Tom Zink, his matches against Jushin Liger, of course. That's what I always think of. I remember, didn't he get hurt in the War Games cage, too? I remember that. That's what I think of when I think of Brian Pillman. Of course, we all remember the Hollywood Blondes as well. Quite the iconic guy for as short of a career as he did have, and his story has been told numerous times. We won't tell it again here. But there he is on the side, a little glamour shot. Brian Pillman on the side there, and of course, you know, his son wrestling for AEW right now. UPC's warnings, we got the gold cross-sell. We'll be unboxing all those guys on the channel, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Every single Tuesday, we got Jack's Class Superstar videos here on the channel. Tail of the tape, the old blurb, and the old glamour shot. Let's see what it says about Flying Brian Pillman. Flying right into our heart is what he's doing. Weight 235 pounds, 6 feet tall. Finishing move, the old Air Pillman. Titles, WCW Light Heavyweight Champion and WCW Tag Team Champion. And I remember just being shocked when he went to ECW. You guys know I love my ECW. Just totally shocked, and that was just one of those cool things you just never expected. And then he was as gone as fast as he came is how it kind of felt when he went on to the WWE, of course. But Brian Pillman looking really good here. But let's get him out of the package. Let's see what's going on. See what's all the fuss is about with old Flying Brian. There it is. See you later. I'm almost shocked Jax didn't give us a repaint of this in kind of the blue trunks he used to wear for a little bit. Of course, we did get another Brian Pillman with the Hollywood Blondes 2-pack. Stay tuned. We'll unbox those on the channel eventually as well. There he is in the plastic prison with the old steel chair. Looking good. Pop him out. Maybe we'll pop him out. There he goes. And we're off to the races. See you later. Goodbye. All right. Once again, the gray steel chair. We've seen it a million times. We'll see it a million times more, but always good to have a chair. It's always fun. You can put it in the crowd. You can use it in matches. There's a lot you can do with those steel chairs. Now we get Brian Pillman, and Brian Pillman got the mean mug. He's gritting his teeth. He's getting rid of his teeth and baring it. He's ready to go. Always felt like this figure was a little bit big. It always felt a hair big than it really should have been, but a lot of people say that about a lot of Jax figures, as we do know. But it definitely looks like Brian Pillman. I'm not going to say, though, if I saw this, if I could tell you right away this is Brian Pillman. He definitely has that mullet going on, but I think some people could be confused. It's a good enough, but I don't think it's a great head sculpt. We'll leave it at that. He does got knee pads, of course, black knee pads, and he's got his black vest. Of course, he used to wear a vest. Got a little bit of that sticky disease on that vest, so buyer beware, especially on the front. Going to have to get the old plastic tape, put it on there, counteract that, and move on from there. But he does have some of that going on. Of course, you get kind of the Bengal-style trunks. I don't know if that's quite identical to what he wore. I always remember the black being a little bit bigger, but it gets the job done. You know what it's trying to represent there. It does work for me. Articulation-wise, of course, the head does move around. Arms all the way around. Bicep cut. Single-jointed elbows. Back and forth, up and down on the wrist. Waist articulation. You get a little bit of splits forward, of course, single-jointed knees, then ankles back and forth. Down to his white boots here, but definitely a good representation of Brian Pillman over this time frame. We do know we did get a WCW version Elite, an Elite from Mattel, and the WCW kind of throwback packaging, whatever, with the WCW logo on it. Long way to get there, but we did get that, and I think for most people that's maybe the defining Brian Pillman figure. But we'll see. I guess Brian Pillman's one of those guys we could do a top 5 of on the channel one of these days. Never thought about doing it, but I'll add him to the list because I think we do have over 5 figures, especially when you count his Galoobs from back in the day. A couple Jax Class Superstars, and of course a couple Elites, or at least one Elite, I should say. One Elite, I should say. Hopefully we do get some more Brian Pillman figures. It would be great to have a Hollywood Blonde to match that stunning Steve Austin we got a year ago. What is time anymore? But a good Brian Pillman. I'm going to say it's an okay figure. It is a little pricier figure than a lot of them, but it is pretty good. It is just a little bit tall. That's the biggest fault I have with it. All right, we're going to finish it up here with Jeff Hardy, another guy that didn't feel quite classic at the time, but has grown into the Classic Superstars line. As I always say, that is one of the beauties of this set, that guys that didn't feel classic have matured into classic. So it is really cool how that works out. But I remember being at the time, I just thinking like, why isn't this in the regular Ruthless Aggression line? Why are they taking a spot from some old legend I could have had? But like I said, now it does kind of work out. And of course, Jeff Hardy, no stranger to figures for his time in the WWF, WWE, TNA, AEW, maybe eventually. We'll see when he gets a figure there. But Jeff Hardy, of course, a guy that's been around the wrestling business and once again fit in this kind of high flyer video, I would say. But there's old Jeff Hardy in the pack here now. It's an interesting one with this Jeff Hardy. And there he is on the side there. Side right there, of course. And then on the back of the package, you get the cross-sell, you get the UBCs, you get the warning tail, the tape, the blurb, the glamour shot. But of course, we do see in Series 21, very interesting that there is no Matt Hardy. And that's one of the things that really gets me worked up about Jax Class Superstars is it was always dangerous. Okay, I got Jeff Hardy here. Am I ever going to get the Matt Hardy to match this? Well, we got very lucky as that Matt Hardy did come in Series 2020, or Series 22, not 2022, but Series 22. That Matt Hardy did come our way. So I was thankful we didn't have a Road Warrior situation, Heart Foundation situation, or a lot of the other situations we did get over the years from Jax Class Superstars. But this one ended up working out for us. But let's read the back here. Let's see what it says back here on Jeff Hardy. Weight 225 pounds, height 6'1", finishing move the Swanton Bomb, titles Intercontinental Champion, World Tag Team Champion, European Champion, Light Heavyweight Champion, and Hardcore Champion. He gets around. Oh, he gets around, of course. But not a bad figure. A good earlier representation of Jeff Hardy, and of course the mat to match it in Series 22. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll talk about that one eventually. But let's get old Jeff out of the package. See what all the fuss is about here. And like I said, there wasn't a lot of fuss. There was more disappointment from Kyle around this time, saying, keep him in the regular Ruthless Aggression wave. Get him out of my classics. See you later. But like I said, it does work now. There he is. Once again, we get the old steel chair. Oh, we're just collecting steel chairs. We're going to build an arena. We're going to have more seats than people. That's what we're going to have with all these figures. We do get the steel chair. Don't even need to talk about this. You guys know all about that by now. We do get this, and we're off to the races. See you later. Goodbye. And now we get Jeff Hardy, and I always liked this body style for Jeff Hardy. We did get this body reused like a lot of Jacks over and over. We got this as part of that SummerSlam Classic Superstars WWE Shop 2-pack. Not terribly different than this figure, actually. But we do have one that looks like that. But he does got the nice racing stripes on his black shirt. Got his little fishnet things he wore on his arm. Never really understood that, but I guess I'm a generation maybe, I was going to say ahead of him, but he's older than I am, so I don't know. I don't know why I never got it, but I never got it. I never understood the fishnets. But he's got his black shirt on here. He's got the black baggy pants. Really wish we could have got a Michael P.S. Hayes to go with this, with his baggy pants. Remember when he joined up with the Hardys and wrestled? And he was only 35 years old, but he looked like he was 70. That was a crazy time. Crazy time for sure. But this Jeff, definitely, I think somebody gives you this head sculpt, I think you're going to know it's Jeff Hardy. You got the blonde highlights and the black in there. A good representation. I guess the only negatives I have with this figure, really, at the end of the day, is it didn't feel classic at the time, but now, 20 years later, or whatever it's been, it does feel classic. So it does work, and I'm happy to report, like I said, Jeff Hardy has his partner, his brother Matt, in the next series, so all was right in the world. So really, not a whole bad deal. If you would have done this review 15, 18 years ago, I would have said, this is ridiculous, what are we doing? But as time goes on, I guess we all get a little bit smarter and we get okay with things like this. So Jeff Hardy, he's okay in my book in Series 21, as is Rey, as is Brian Pillman. 3 strong, high-flying figures, 3 guys that belong in any Classic Superstars collection, and I'm here for them all day long. But what about you guys out in YouTube land? You here for these guys? Which one's your favorite? Which one's your least favorite? What do you think about these 3? Sound off in the comments down below, and of course don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell, as every single Tuesday we got a Jakks Classic Superstars video that you do not want to miss. And of course, if you're a Patreon member, you can be months ahead on these Classic Superstars videos, as we got a bunch early over there, of course, as part of the Patreon. You got bonus content, exclusive content, early access to content, and of course, the monthly giveaways over on Patreon. So check that one out, support the channel. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson, and don't forget to follow along on social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, and Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Flying Brian Pillman, Jeff Hardy, and Rey Mysterio, don't call me Jr., I am Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.